Chad, we were asked multiple times on the Huddle Up podcast, what is one surprise cut you could see the Broncos making? And we were sitting there going, and that's a good problem to have because the Broncos roster is so freaking deep from starters to backups. But Freeman is the one guy you and I both kind of landed on because where does he really fit in? You have Melvin Gordon, who they're paying as their workhorse. You have Javonte Pookie, who they drafted in the second round. He is their future. He could be the starter by the beginning of the season. Then you brought in a former Viking that we talked about, along with Shamar Stephen, Mike Boone. How many running backs do you need? It's going to be the Gordon and Pookie show the majority of the season, with Boone coming in every now and then. Freeman never lived up to his billing at all. I mean, again, it's also an indictment. What do they think about Freeman if they brought in Pookie? They brought in Melvin Gordon last year, and before even that, they were giving more carries to Phillip Lindsay. They were going away from Freeman and going toward Lindsay. He doesn't really do much. He's the definition of a jag. He's not overly strong. He's not overly fast. He's not overly impressive. He's just there. And it was a good, again, flyer by the Broncos, third-round pick out of Oregon, leading rusher. Did not have a lot of tread left on his tires, and the Broncos knew that. And after that high ankle sprain his rookie year, I mean, it never was the same for Royce. So I can definitely see if the Broncos don't get any trade bites on him coming out of the summer, I can see him being a not so surprising final cut.
That's what surprised me, excuse me, so much about the Royce Freeman pick was on its surface, you're going, yeah, the most prolific rusher in the history of Oregon football, sign me up. But when you look in retrospect, the Broncos had already been burned by drafting a prolific collegiate running back in a premium round who had just so much wear and tear on the tires in Monte Ball. Now, Monte Ball ended up flaming out, not so much because of injuries or wear and tear per se, but problems between the years with the alcoholism and stuff we learned about later on. But still, that should have been, I would have thought, a fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, etc. Well, now the shame is on the Broncos because Royce Freeman, in a very similar sense, showed you that all it took was one injury and the wear and tear, what little tread was left on his tires, gone. So now you're bald, right? The tires are bald and the wrong angle at the wrong rock in the road, and boom, that thing's going to blow. So Royce Freeman, Zach, one last thing I'll say is the most damning thing to me that speaks to the truth of this, that you chose Royce Freeman, is that when Vic Fangio last week, not just this past week, but the last week, so minicamp week, mandatory, when he was asked about the competition at running back, he wasn't even led. He wasn't thrown names specifically. He was, competition at running back. Melvin, Javonte, Mike Boone, Royce Freeman's name did not come up.